Hi, friends. In today's episode, episode number two in our production control series, we actually going to discuss about the plant production cycle and also the what are the production strategies and some of the basic terminologies to start off. So let's quickly get into the presentation. If you're watching this video for the first time, my name is Sriram Sivashankaran and I have been posting videos, documents, and articles related to Dynamics 365 F&O. And if you want to get regular updates, please make sure that you follow my profile. Right. So the agenda for this session is quickly we will cover about what is the plan to produce cycle, what is a production strategy, what are the various production strategies which we can use or configure in that Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. What are some of the key terminologies? Because before getting into the concepts of following the production order lifecycle, you should first of all know what are all the key configurations which are required. So if we want to perform the configurations, you should need to understand the terminologies, so that you will be able to perform those configurations when you do the practice, right? So, as you know, we are following a episode plan. We start off with the production order introduction. Right now, in today's episode, we will be covering about the strategies and terminologies. That is part of episode number two. And if you want to look at any specific topic, please make sure that you share that in the comment section also, so that we will also cover that particular topic as we progress in the series, right? So this is primarily to give you an idea about what are the topics we will be covering in the production order series. And like I said in episode number one, we will be focusing only in discrete manufacturing and not in process manufacturing or Kanban manufacturing. So just want to make that very clear in the beginning of the series itself. So, first of all, what is a plan to produce cycle? A plan to produce cycle consists of various steps, like whenever if you manufacture a fabric using a sewing machine, what is basically the production strategy? That's what you need to define. You need to define what is the production strategy which you are using in your shop floor. What is the kind of plan that you have, based on the capacity which you have in your, based on the number of resources you have, based on the manpower you have. What's the kind of plan you are making, based on the demand which you have in your, which is coming through in same terms of your sales orders. And then you have to execute the production plan, right? You need to execute those production plan either manually or through planned production orders by using the master planning. And then after, once the material is produced, you may need to inspect the material which is actually produced, the finished good which is actually produced. And then you have to do an analysis of what is actually planned and what is the actual production which has taken place. So generally this is the cycle which is followed up. So as a functional consultant, you should be aware of what is the strategy first of all used in order to produce the material. But what are all the various strategies that are available as far as production is concerned? So let me get into the next slide. So I got this image snip from one of the dynamic community page, and I found this to be very pictorially representing what kind of a strategy a user should use. So if you are an implementation consultant or you are an end user, you should know what exactly the strategy, whether it's a push strategy or a pull strategy which you are using. So the strategy can be start off with a make to stock, where you have the the commodities like the shirts or a retail commodities where you manufacture items, and you know based on the season. Let's say for summer, these are the kind of fabrics that generally go for high demand in sales, or maybe for the winter or autumn, these are the kind of trousers and shirts or t-shirts which you go for. So you know the demand, you primarily based on the demand, you manufacture the material and stock the material for ready availability of the material for the users in the retail, right? So that is basically a push strategy. You manufacture the item and make sure the stock is available in your inventory. And then you can have assemble to order also. This is the strategy which is used in case of the manufacturing the items which has individual components like a laptop, or maybe a bicycle, where you have individual components which need to be assembled in order to give a finished product to the customer, right? Based on the so it is almost linked to configure, I would say. Maybe based on the configuration requirements from the customer, based on the RAM or the ROM, you assemble the items and then deliver the product to the customer. So this is the second strategy which can be assembled to order. can also have a configure to order. You're configuring the finished good item. Let's take an example of a pizza where you can add toppings based on the configuration requirements from the customers. This is kind of a pull. So because the customer can ask for extra toppings of cheese or extra toppings of oregano, so extra toppings of tomato, that is purely configurable, right? So you need to configure the raw materials accordingly, and based on which you manufacture the material and then deliver it to the customers. So this is the third type of strategy which can be used. And fourth, I would say, is make to order. So we saw first in the beginning as make to stock. So you manufacture it to in order to stock the material. So here you manufacture it based on the requirement from the customer. This is primarily in case of custom requirements, like even in some of the automotive industries, based on the even once the order is received, based on which they manufacture the materials. So even if you want to build a custom furniture, based on the custom requirements, you receive it from the customer, and based on which you manufacture the product, right? So you cannot have this same kind of black color cushion sofa may not be applicable for another customer who may be interested in a wooden sofa. So that's what. So make to order is primarily depends on what kind of custom requirements that the customer is coming up with. So in those cases, a make to order strategy is used. And last but not least is the engineer to order. So engineer to order is basically where you have a lot of engineering design changes. So you may have a lot of engineering requirements in case of complex machineries or bespoke machines, like earth moving equipments or an aeroplane or a ship, where you need to configure those engineering changes. Each and every time you need to maintain multiple versions, bomb versions, and then manufacture the material. So in those cases, an engineer to order is actually used. But typically, I would suggest you to understand first of all the basic of production strategy, which is make to stock, assemble to order, configure to order, and make to order, and this engineer to order. So that's the reason I have just listed it out in this slide. So these are the different production strategies which are possible on real-time scenarios. So depending upon your production strategy, you need to configure it in the system accordingly. So for if you want to get further more details, please check out the link of production process overview in Microsoft Learn. I'll also share this link in the video description. So let's get into the terminologies right away. So first of all, in the previous episode number one, also we were talking about FG. FG stands for finished good. Finished good is the item produced after completing the production life cycle and it is ready to be sold. So if you use this particular item, you can raise a sales order and you can sell it to the customer. So that is a finished good item for you. So once the production is completed, the by using all the raw materials, after that only the finished good can be produced and made available as an inventory in your system. And we may have SFG. SFG is semi-finished good. Semi-finished good or basically used in case of when we have a multi-level bomb. Let's say you are trying to manufacture a car, but in order to manufacture a car, you need to have an engine, right? So in order to manufacture an engine, you may be getting clutch system from your vendor, another cam system from your cranking system from another vendor, or you are getting your fuel system from another vendor. So it has its own BOM of materials, bill of materials. So BOM basically means contains the list of raw materials. So to manufacture an engine, you may have other components which are actually required. So engine is a semi-finished good for manufacturing a car. So you may have multi-level bomb also. Even I have seen in my career multi-level bomb with bomb lines ranging from 200 to 250, or even multi-level bomb with levels up to 9 10 or so. So in those complex scenarios, you need to have the semi-finished good. Only when the semi-finished good is available in your inventory, then only you can take it up for a finished good of items, right? And then RM, we will talk about often RM, RM, which is actually means raw material, which is actually the input materials. Like we saw in the previous video, if you want to manufacture a shirt, you need a fabric or thread. That's what we saw in the previous video, right? If you want to manufacture a shirt, you need a fabric, you need a thread. So those are referred to us as the RM, the raw material, the input materials used for producing the finished good or the semi-finished good. And then we have root. Root is the terminology which is used in the in D365 to define the series of operations which need to be executed to finish production of an item. Let's say in this case example of manufacturing a shirt, you need to perform the cutting and then sewing and then packing. So these are all the operations which need to be performed before the shirt comes out as a finished good, right? So those are the operations. So these key operations are defined as root in the D365 production control module. And then what we have called bomb is actually defined under each and every FG. So let's say there is a item number which is actually captured as shirt. The shirt, in order to produce an item finished good shirt, and a shirt we need to have a bomb which contains fabric or button thread, all the raw materials, and it also should contain a root with the operations cutting, packing and sewing. So that's how these terminologies are interlinked. You have a FG item, you assign a bomb, and in the bomb you define the root. In the bomb you define the raw materials, and in the FG you also need to define what are all the operations which are need to be performed in order to complete the finished good item. I hope that should be now clear to you, the terminologies. And also the other key terminologies I would say is resources. See, resources may be a machine, a man, a worker, or tool, or even can be a vendor. So that's why in the episode number one we said that the root, the four M's of production: man, method, machine, material, all are very important. So resources can be your machines which is actually used to perform a particular operation. So when we talk about root, in order to perform a sewing operation you need a sewing machine, right? So in order to perform a cutting operation you need a cutting machine. In order to perform a packing operation you need the resources like a packing machine, or the tools, the tapes, or the workers who are also considered as resources in the system. So until unless you have the resources in place you will not be able to perform the specific operations. So resources is another key terminology which is used, and it has to be configured in the system. And then we have calendar. So the calendar is very important as far as the resource management is concerned, because each and every resource need to be tagged to a calendar, and based on the calendar it actually system actually understands the capacity which you have in your production shop floor. Without the calendar you will not be able to you will not be able to plan your production orders. So configuring a working calendar is very important in order to understand the capacity planning, and then based on which the system allocates the resources for performing the production. And then also there is a concept of scrap. So whenever the finished good is produced, this can be your waste or excess or unusable raw material that is left out, which can be used after an item is produced. So this cannot be used basically. That's what I mentioned, which can't be used after an item is produced. So after producing a finished good, if you have any excess material, raw material or unused material, and how do you allocate the costing for those, whether you allocating the costing for the scrap material in the FG account, or are you using a separate scrap account? We'll also see how to do that as we progress in this video. Probably we will take this up in our costing session. And then you can also schedule the production order. This is basically involves a job scheduling, scheduling the production orders, when to produce and how much produce, but we will not discuss in detail about this. Probably I thought of taking up this when we discuss about the master planning session, where we will discuss in detail about how to configure the planned production orders, and then firm the planned production order. So we will take this up in the master planning session. And also the another important concept is subcontracting. It's not necessarily all the operations you need to perform inside your premise, inside your shop floor. Let's say even if you are manufacturing a shirt, it's not necessary that you need to perform all the cutting, sewing, packing or printing. Everything has to be performed inside your premises. Maybe you can perform the printing operation outside the vendor, and the vendor sends back the material to your warehouse, and then you process the packing and dispatching, right? So that's what it subcontracting actually means. Subcontracting is the process by which using a vendor to process some or all of the item. So specific operation can be performed by them. So You send the raw materials to them or the semi-finished goods item to the vendor. They complete a specific operation and then send the material back to you for performing the subsequent operations. So these are some of the key terminologies. You can also check out the link which will share it in the description if you want to get more understanding about these terminologies as you progress in the series, right? So that's it for this episode. So in the next episode we will quickly cover about what is exactly a bomb, how to define a bomb template and bomb versions. Let me also show you in the D365 screen that so we were talking about the production control module, but in the production control we will not be able to configure the bomb. But in the product information management, like I said in the episode number 1, production control is linked to product information management, warehousing, master planning. So product in the product information management, you need to configure the bill of materials. We will not be discussing about the formulas which is actually used for process manufacturing, but we will discuss in detail about what is bill of material, how to configure the bill of materials, and we will also see how to create the raw materials and assign it in the bill of materials. But I will also recommend you in the meantime to go through the configurations of the items, starting off with if you are using the legal entity USMF, then you should be able to view these items like D0001, 002, standard speaker. These are some of the items which are already having some BOM versions. So if you go through this, you will get an idea about what exactly the BOM is, because like you can see, these are the list of raw material items which are available under this item number in order to manufacture a standard speaker. So you can get an idea about what is BOM is. So we will not be discussing about how to create an item, because that's not the intention of this particular series. So I will recommend you to create an item using the configurations available in some or any of this items already available in USMS. Just basically use the same storage tracking and item model groups. So based on which you create and configure an item, and then we will take it up how to create the BOM versions and assign the raw materials to the BOM versions. That's it for today's video. Hope to see you in another interesting topic, which is production configuration of BOM. And make sure that you follow my channel in YouTube, subscribe to this channel, and if you are using LinkedIn, make sure that you follow my LinkedIn page in order to get regular updates. Thanks for watching this video.